Topic: The Heirloom by Faraz Mahmood. It was Tuesday and the dawn had barely broken through the dark velvet horizon. Mehtab reluctantly splashed cold water on his face. The dreariness in his eyes wasn't lingering sleep, but rather the physical accumulation of years of emotional distress and much toil. Remnants of drowsiness were attacked by the frosty sting of the water, causing his eyelids to flicker uncontrollably, flashing fragments from the pages of his life. An unappetizing breakfast comprising stale tea and a slice of dry toast awaited Mehtab. He closed his eyes and gulped it down. Putting on the official Khansama uniform confirmed the drudgery of another day. But at 56, Mehtab had a lot to be grateful for. In a nation overflowing with starving refugees, destitute and abused minorities, multiple mafias of thugs and beggars alike, and not to mention the corrupt proletariat, Mehtab, in comparison, was employed in a bank, serving tea and biscuits to all the officers, the importance of which could not be underestimated since at least 40% of a typical workday is expended in extensive tea consumption. 6:45 on the clock meant that Mehtab must now head out as it would require a 20-minute walk and the switching of two buses to get from Liari to Defense. He strapped on his tattered moccasins and slipped on his ring, the only prized possession in his otherwise bare existence, a beautiful piece of craftsmanship comprising of a thick gold band and a solid, uncut chunk of deep emerald, presented to him on his 18th birthday and on the completion of his intermediate education, a ring passed on over generations, marking the official initiation into manhood. It was a day of glowing pride for him, the memories of which still struck the delicate chords of nostalgia. He remembered the feeling like it was but a moment ago, the minute he wore that ring for the first time and vowed to himself that never, not even under the most desperate of circumstances, would he ever sell it. It was a reliquary of his singularly reputable soul, now fading into a mere reflection of its former self. Now he took life one day at a time. 8:25 a.m. An immaculately dressed man was driving a shiny black Mercedes E-Class through the scanty early morning traffic of the defense area. Adnan Rohela had just been appointed the senior executive vice president of a prominent international banking franchise. The Mercedes cruised through the streets while its driver pondered over several random thoughts. His official targets, the agenda for the staff meeting scheduled later in the afternoon, the lunch with his VIP clientele, which included several industrial tycoons setting up their factories in various villages surrounding the edges of the city, the delivery of the three new Armani suits that he had recently ordered, and of course, the most important plan of all, moving into a staggeringly luxurious Koti in defense, where he would surely be entertaining people of great wealth and influence. As Mehtab was getting ready for his morning duties, his supervisor walked in and told him that his duties had been reassigned as the personal Khansama for Mr. Ohela, who was dissatisfied with his tea boy and had demanded instituting someone with more VIP experience in his place. Mehtab was, therefore, instructed to immediately report for duty on the top floor. He reluctantly knocked on the large wooden door, glamorously embossed with the big boss's name and designation. "Come in," said a stern voice at the other hand. Mehta walked into a plush and rather large office with a wall-to-wall window overlooking the busy marketplace and a residential area of Clifton. "Salam, Sahib. Have you been briefed about your duties here?" "Yes, Sahib. I like my tea hot and strong, at least 3 times during the day. You will also be responsible for ordering my lunch every day. My PA will inform you about what to get. Make sure it is on the table no later than 1 p.m. Oh, and it's a part of your job to carry my laptop and other personal items to my office in the morning as well as to my car in the evening, and they must reach my desk before I do. I don't like to be kept waiting. I'll be observing you over the next 2 weeks. Any irregularities will result in your immediate removal from this position and a formal reporting to the admin supervisor. Is that clear to you? Yes, Sahib. Where do you live? In Lihari, Sahib. It would be wise on your part to know that I do not tolerate tardiness. I don't care how far you live or how long it takes for you to get here. If I don't get my morning cup of tea, the consequences for you can be quite severe. Do you understand? Yes, Sahib. And how exactly does an old Khansama from Liari come to afford a ring like that? Rohela asked with a cynical expression. It belongs in my family, Sahib. My grandfather was the chief Hafiz of our village. The ring was given to him as a gift and is passed down to the next generation at the completion of intermediate education. Mehtab explained with a reminiscent smile. Fine, fine. Just go and get me my tea, please. Mehtab walked out with a squeezy stomach at the prospect of having a permanent working position under his individual, who in less than 5 minutes had stripped him of all his dignity and had successfully managed to remind him of his puny little place in the universe, as if his everyday existence wasn't reminder enough of that fact. A few days passed, with Mehta constantly on his toes, struggling to keep up with Rohela's impromptu demands and trying very hard to stay up to the mark. On a not so unusual meeting, as Mehta was walking down with Rohela to the parking garage, they were greeted with a revolver pointing directly at them. It was in the hands of a poor man who by no definition fit the description of a petty cell phone robber. His apparent age, his respectably groomed silver grey hair, and the general look of deep regret and overwhelming emotion gave him a kind of dignified appearance. What is this? Who are you? What do you want? Rohila glared at the man, trying to project anger but manifesting only fear. I am not here for your wallet or your mobile, Bare Sahab, the man retorted with disgust. I want compensation from the stealer of lives. I want your life as payment for the lives you stole from us. What is this rubbish? What are you talking about? Rohela shouted, now visibly quivering with dread. I've heard your name in the news and seen it in the papers. The captain of industry, the paragon of progress, bringing an industrial revolution to the rural heart of the city. But you are snatching our souls from under our skins. It was your people who drove out hordes of families from their homes with fraudulent documents and force of arms. You are the reason we have watched our crops and animals bulldozed to the ground and watched our families starve to death. You are the reason why our children caught diseases and died under the open sky with no roofs over their heads. But you will pay me back now, Bade Sahib, in blood. Rohira's eyes stretched wider with horror. He stood petrified, desperately searching for words to pacify the intruder. A deafening blast from the revolver resonated through the thick circular walls of the underground parking garage. Several minutes later, the parking garage was crawling with police officers, ambulance workers, and some general public gathered to see the show. In one corner, the police had detained a man with a shocked expression frozen on his face. After the unexpected turn of events, in the other, Rohela sitting on the floor leaning against a pillar and somewhere near the middle, Mehtab on a stretcher with a flesh wound in his left shoulder. Why had he hurled himself in front of Rohela as a human shield was as much a mystery to him as it would be to anyone else in his circumstances. Several weeks later, Mehta found himself frantically rushing towards Rohela's opulent office, his left arm and hand in a cast, and lungs running short of breath with every step. He knocked fervently and entered. Have you come to rejoin your position? Your substitute is doing a decent job, and besides, you honestly don't seem like you are in a position to do any productive work. Sahib, please, I'm here because I've run into some desperate circumstances. My wife is gravely ill, and I have no medical coverage from this job. Both my sons have lost their respective employments because of cutbacks. I have nowhere else to go. Please, Sahib, I would really appreciate any help that you can give me, Mehta pleaded. I may emphasize with your situation. However, I have no control over HR policies. If you have not been provided with a health policy, then you need to take it up with the HR manager. It has nothing to do with me. Sahib, please, I beg you. Can you not help me in any way? I took a bullet for you, Sahib. I laid my life on the line for yours. I have come to you now in my hour of dire need and distress. Life is a process of natural selection, Mehtab, so that the universe remains in balance. Your decision to block that bullet was simply life's way of preserving the more important individual. I am the captain of industry. Many lives depend on my existence. You, on the other hand, are a slum dwelling nobody whose life serves no real purpose. Fate simply chose accordingly. It's a fair trade, and you are lucky to be alive. Is this the byproduct of wealth and success? A cold heart and a vacant soul? Mehtab sighed, eyes welled up with tears. I was wrong to come here and expect graciousness. I took that bullet for you, but I knew in my heart that all those things the man said about you were true, every word, and I still kept it to myself. Are you trying to blackmail me? Rohila snapped with a mixture of rage and nervousness at the prospect of a possible loose end. He pressed the button under his desk, and two guards entered the office immediately. This man is soliciting for money and making a nuisance of himself. Remove him at once. As the guards grabbed Mehtab, he added, Wait, I had misplaced a rather valuable piece of jewelry a few weeks ago during his duties here and have yet to find it. Search him. The search instantly revealed a large gold and emerald ring hung in a chain round Mehtab's neck, on account of his inability to wear it on his finger, which was covered in the cast. Ah, clever of you to hang it round your neck so it wouldn't be discovered in your pockets, Mehtab. No, please, it's mine. This is a lie. It's my family crest. You cannot do this. Yes, indeed. A family crest like that belonging to a Khansama from Liari? The sarcasm in Rohela's voice pierced Mehtab's senses. Throw him in the local district thana for a few days. Give him something to think about. Maybe it will clear up his deficient logic before he tries to challenge me again. Our fates are intertwined, like intricate threads on a loom, joined together by an instrument of cosmic significance. Mehtab's ring was the most valued ornament of his life. It gave him purpose and continuity, and an intrinsic worth to his existence, which only he could understand and appreciate. Little did he know that it would ultimately be the instrument leading to his ruin, or shall we say liberation. The next morning, while Mehtab sat weeping in his holding cell, someone had managed to slip through security at the bank. And moments later, the surrounding shops and streets were cataclysmically shaken by a powerful and resonating blast, the effects of which were felt for miles in all directions. The official report shed light on the perpetrator, who belonged to a regional fundamentalist group, lately targeting the non Sharia compliant financial sector that deals in various aspects of usury and interest. The grand building and its plush offices were instantaneously reduced to rubble, and the identification of victims through the examination of charred body parts, DNA, and dental records was a mammoth task that was yet to be undertaken by the forensic experts. Life certainly is a process of natural selection. In the grand scheme of things, life, after all, chose the honorable pauper over the crooked rich man. The grand design works in surprising ways. In a single sweep of destiny's broom, Mehtab lost his livelihood, his prized possession, and to some extent his dignity, but gained his life. A corrupt bureaucrat dies. A Khansama lives. Fair trade.